Peace and blessings, peace and blessings.
Yes, peace.
Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is Naseed Gifted and
Dilettante J Bass.
going on just working on a few things. I see people are tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We are definitely this is the Future is Black podcast coming to you every Thursday. Every Thursday. Hopefully you can hear us clearly. We are working on a video, just making adjustments here because it's some things that are definitely causing us a little conflict or whatever, but we are ready. We are in tune and we are ready to go, man. So today's episode 6, which is the Odyssey, the Afrofuturism Odyssey. From comics to screen, the evolution of the Black superheroes, embark on a journey through the cosmos of Afrofuturism as we explore the dynamic evolution of Black superheroes, transcending the pages of comic books to conquer the silver screen. Join us in this podcast as we delve into the rich tapestry of Afrofuturistic narratives, celebrating the groundbreaking characters, stories, and cultural impact that has shaped this genre. Man. So we got a whole lot to kind of get and cover tonight, but let us know where you're tuning in from, man. Hey, you have been phenomenal. So just being able to like and subscribe, let us know where you're tuning in from. That has been definitely helping, and definitely make sure you share. Once again, this is the Futures Black coming to you every Thursday live. We're working on equipment. Every week we're trying to upgrade, but for some reason, everything is something always messing with us and messing up, man.
It's a learning
But
process.
hey, man, but at the same time, hey, we making it happen. So that's what it is. So let's jump right into it, brother. Who we want to jump in first. We talk about characters who have went from comics to the silver screen. I mean, I think we gotta kind of talk about when we talk about Afrofuturism and the one, and a lot of people don't get his individual credit, but I want to talk about Blade real quick. Wesley Snipes' Blade, who went from the comics, made that popularized that character and then turned into the silver screen and actually cut Marvel out of bankruptcy. If you want to truth be told.
Blade is he's I would say an all-time favorite, especially in the Black community.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when you think about Blade, it's like you can see that character, and he had swag. He was cool, he was different, and we didn't see nothing like Blade on the screens ever before, like that type of character. So, he's one that definitely deserves his props. Wesley Snipes played the hell out of that role.
Oh, did he, man? He
embodied the character to the fullest, to the point. They tried to do a Blade TV series, I think. What was it? Fragile Star?
Yeah, Fragile Star. Yeah, he came out with that.
Yeah, it was horrible, but I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's coming off the cusp of the comic book boom, right? Because remember in the 90s was when comics were selling millions and millions of copies. When you talk about X-Men, you talk about Spider-Man, and and then before Todd McFarlane and all of the individuals who were within Image broke off from Marvel, they were selling millions of copies, and being that they were, like these rock star artists, that's one of the reasons that they broke off. And coming at the tail end of that was Blade, where it put those individuals on the silver screen.
But what really made Blade what it was the martial arts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because if you look at a lot of those comic books, the fighting scenes were nothing like Blade. Blade, it was real. Like, oh, you could see like, oh, this guy really know how to fight. Compared to like a regular punch, kick, and you could tell they couldn't fight. But Blade, the martial arts, took that to the next level. And that's what did it for me for Blade.
Oh yeah, man, that definitely was tough. I mean, and we know that he was a vampire hunter, part half vampire, half human.
Those storylines always get people.
Oh yeah,
vampires
definitely.
and werewolves.
Oh yeah, yeah. We talk about the whole Twilight series and everything else
What was
that's
that?
tied into all of it.
Underworld, lichens, and so that's what it is. So I give Wesley Snipes his props.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. We definitely want to give a shout out to, and of course now they revamping that series and coming out. I mean, it's going into anime. They're coming out with a new feature film.
What for
They
Blade?
they didn't green light the date yet. I believe
Is
it's
Wesley in it?
2025. No, Wesley's not in it. No, the
But at
good.
least Michael J. White or something. Who in it?
And I'm gonna mess his name all the way up,
Who?
but the brother Masharo Ali,
From where? Who was it?
um the oh man, what was that? Moon, what was that? Moon.
Oh, Moon. He also played in.
He just played in a new Netflix film that
He
just came
played
out.
in. He was Luke Cage. Played in Luke
Yeah, he played
Cage
in Luke Cage
as
as
the
well.
uncle, as the club owner.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, they
yes,
killed off too fast, man.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Uh,
he's the new individual that's supposed
uh,
to be coming out as
I
the
don't
Blake.
see it. I don't see it.
Hey,
I don't see it because
I
you
mean,
don't know.
the execs, I guess, felt that, you know,
Let me think.
possibly Wesley Snipes grew out of the actual role at this point, because
No, I could see that, but
Blade One came out in 1998, bro. You know what I'm saying?
but
Yeah,
either way,
yeah, I get
Wesley
it.
still could play it. He
I
still could
agree
play
with
it.
you, but they probably looking for a younger audience to be able to appreciate this particular film. So we definitely understand that.
Well, it is what it is. Life
Yeah,
goes on.
no, no, definitely, definitely. I mean, and then of course they had a whole trilogy with this whole thing. So they did Blade 2, Blade 3, you know,
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
Blade 3 got a little weird and everything, but
I don't even remember Blade 3.
yeah, well, they had the others in there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah,
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 they
yeah,
had the whole triad of individuals.
yeah. Brought
Uh
in groups and all that.
hmm Yep,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
So yeah, that was that plot line. So we're not gonna go deeper into that, but
Yeah,
that was that. And we talk about Afrofuturism and and China controlling the narrative. I know we are talking about a Marvel property right now, but we're talking about something that went from comics to the silver screen. And just being able to take these properties and get a at that time, I think he got a $70 million budget, with
hmm,
regards to that film, which was really low budget, you know.
yeah,
And I'm gonna definitely verify that number, with regards to what was the budget for that. But even with that, the production budget was nowhere near any number that these other productions actually get, because they actually don't believe in these particular properties, so they don't green light as much. 45 million. I'm sorry, I almost doubled the
and it
amount of money.
made how much?
Yeah,
It
and this
made
was
millions.
98, and
Yeah.
this was in 98, and the amount of money that and I could definitely pull up that number with regards to how much it actually made in the box office. Man, and like I said, this was the movie that a lot of people don't know saved Marvel.
Yeah.
This made, so it was 45 million. It made $155 million, in the box office. That's just you know that's just that number. I mean, we talking about the worldwide number. Domestic release was 70 million, international was 61, so it made about 131, 100,
Hmm.
close to 140 million, on a $45 million budget, back then, and then of course that's why that green lit the second one and then the third one,
Yeah.
which from my understanding didn't perform as well. But the
Yeah.
franchise still lives on.
Yeah.
And then just kind of jumping into the same property or another property within that universe, which is Luke Cage. Went
Yeah.
from the comics and now went to the silver screen. It was more of a Netflix series than more than the actual full feature film, but the things, especially because it emerged on the Black Lives Matter movement, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and and it had such a volatile impact because one, it was an all black cast. The music, the production, everything about this particular series spoke to the Harlem Renaissance or something, very similar to it. So, that was something that I was like, wow. That I was like, wow, man, they really, really tapped in, within this particular production. So that was dope. That was definitely dope.
Like you said, the soundtrack was fire. And part of the soundtrack was to reach a certain crowd because at the time hip hop was at what, an all time high.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it can attract people, as far as the music. And then, it wasn't far out type superhero. It was
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Well, I mean, you had a
neighborhood.
bulletproof man.
Yeah,
You
and
know what I'm
that was
saying?
it.
When
It was
when
nothing
when
else.
when is we talk about the height of police brutality and people are dying at an all time high, through this, uh, violence and gun violence and everything, and
Because
then
he
you have a
wasn't that good
Bluetooth
of a
man.
fighter.
Nah,
He
he was strong, so
was just
he had
strong. He
a
wasn't a
strong
good
guy.
fighter though.
That was the stereotype that
Yeah.
they they built on and everything. And then of course his backstory, besides the tiara and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
like you think about Tuskegee experiment and everything when he
Mm-hmm.
experimented on people. That was like his backstory and everything. And we talk about his origin. That was something that kind of built on what we talk about here. You know, as we are at the Futures Black podcast.
Yes, yes.
And we're right here in the center of downtown Newark. Recording out of the pod here. Uh, so some of the neighborhood sounds may infiltrate our live stream here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do hear something, just know we are safe and we're taken care of with regards to that. But just to continue on, the one factor within the Luke Cage universe that I truly appreciated was the aesthetics of how they embraced Harlem, right? Like they had Harlem inside and out, and appreciated the black culture that was within this particular universe and series and everything, from the barbershop talks, where he worked at the barbershop, to the restaurants that they were going to the jazz, to all of those different elements. Man, that joint was super powerful.
I mean, they made it real life. They made it relatable, and they made it so people sometimes with certain characters, people need to see themselves in the character.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Luke Cage represented. He represented the struggle of the black man and what we go through. So give it up once again to Luke Cage for what Marvel did with that show.
Oh yeah, what they did with that property is
Yeah,
definitely
so a
powerful.
few others out there.
I
Who
mean,
else we
yeah, and
got?
we're not going to just talk about all of those properties, but we are talking about from comics to silver screen. So
Yeah.
there are some independent properties that are making their way to the silver screen. I gotta give it up to EXO, the Legend of Wale by my man Roy Coupe, who had the graphic novel series of EXO, the Legend of Wale Williams, and developed the animated series with that. And now he actually has another one of his properties we kind of talked about last week, which is going to be on Cartoon Network. So please make sure you check that out. That's Unique Studios. Unique Studios. They have a phenomenal project that's coming out. I'm sorry, it's already out, on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
That's on Cartoon Network in conjunction with a number of other studios that's a part of this particular universe and everything. And, you know, I always say the theory that Luke Cage is the one that greenlit Black Panther, because Black Panther was uh, a production that they were looking to make, but they never gave us a date. They just kept saying it was coming in the later future or whatever. But after the success of the Luke Cage series, that's when Marvel, DC, not D, excuse me, Disney actually greenlit uh, the actual Black Panther production, and
Yeah.
then February, I believe it was it February 2018. I know it's 2018. I'm trying to remember, was it February when it came out? I think it was February. Yeah, I remember it was
Yeah.
cool.
They
So February 2018. That's when we first got Wakanda Forever. So
they moved it up. The
yeah.
poster came out later than when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But when they showed that trailer at one of the Avenger movies,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
people went crazy. So they said we got to move this up.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah. When they showed him in the what was the first place? It was Captain America.
Yeah, showed him one of those movies,
Yes.
and the demand was so high that they moved the come out date, the release date up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the impact we have.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So, like I said, once again, this is the Futures Black podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your one of the co-hosts here, Naseed Gifted, and my partner here,
Dilettante.
Dilettante J Bass in the building. We're talking about from pages to frame. How do we trace the origins of these heroes? But I also, when we talk about Afrofuturism, when we talk about controlling the narrative, these properties that we're talking about through Marvel, and not getting into these were also created by people who didn't look like us, right?
Yeah.
Middle-aged white men for the most part who actually created these particular properties. So a lot of stereotypical things were actually embedded into their origin stories. I mean, even when you go into Falcon, Falcon was a pimp. If you look at his true original,
so
so
dark side.
yeah, there was always some dark side. Luke Cage, he was a prisoner who got experimented on, and that's how he got the tough skin and all this other stuff. So understanding the history of that, and that's why it's so empowering for the new independents and a number of these other properties that are emerging now. Well, actually, I mean, not just saying emerging now, actually getting the spotlight put on them now, because I mean, of course, like our production, P.B.Soldier and Jazen, the Rosette Group from Concrete, we've been around since 2012. There are people from Milestone, with Static Shock and, Hardware and a number of those Rocket and a number of those other characters and everything that's actually been out, from the 90s and everything. And then you have, the good brother Andre Batts, who has his properties out of Detroit, Michigan, and everything, who's been doing it for a number of years. Uh, oh man, Roosevelt Pitts, who has his property. I mean, and Machindo, and a whole bunch of other people who've been, creating and
what's the other?
I mean, John Jennings and a number of other people who've been doing this for actual years. So I don't want to just say that these things are now emerging. I think they're just now getting spotlighted, and especially when we talk about this whole Afrofuturism realm and being able to control the narrative, seeing our faces and seeing us in the future sense, and being able to do that with Maddie's Rocket. We talk about what is it called, Afro retro futurism, with Tim Fielder is doing with that, and it's another other property. So I like that, but we're really focusing today on how these comics are actually been going from comics to or graphic novels to the silver screen, and understanding that, and then the rise within Afrofuturism with regards to that. So if you're tuning in now, please let us know where you're tuning in from. This is the Futures Black podcast. Hey, thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you like, make sure you share, tell a friend that we are here each and every Thursday, man. We're here doing this. And I mean, this is a resource, and we want to provide resources for the people, our community, but also we want to be able to show how we could control the narrative.
Totally agree. Because the way they display us in comic books, TV shows, sometimes is very disrespectful, and it's it's like, yo,
and you putting it lightly.
It's like,
and I'm sorry, I'm chuckling. I don't want to make it seem like it's a funny thing,
like you
but
can see,
but it is disrespect.
the racism like carried out in the pen, even in Japanimation and all that. Is disrespectful. Even when we talk about the big screens, a lot of times sometime they have to remove the black character in order to sell it in China or certain places like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we have to think about. When we're supporting other people, they don't support us.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, and if you like and appreciate these properties that you're looking at, hey, you need people follow the dollar, so you need to support them. You need to, and if you can't support them, I know you. Some people have it, and we get it, But if you don't have it, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you anything to like and share. To like and share, tell a friend, tag a friend, do
Yeah.
all of those things. Just like you do for anything else that you love and appreciate.
Mm. Yep, yep. Where we at now?
I mean, for the most part, we just jumping in, and I didn't want to get into the whole Black Panther thing, but that was a part of this whole cultural phenomena. We talk about Black representation. We talk about you know how powerful that story was, because when you talk about Ch-
T'Challa.
T'Challa, his character and how powerful that is. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of theories and stuff like that about, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, but what he represented, when he actually portrayed that particular character. That is one of the first times that, that amount of power was, displayed within a character of African descent,
Yeah.
on the silver screen, that didn't have any weaknesses, with regards to how or being controlled by the
Mm-hmm.
the, the mass majority.
You know what I'll call that? That was our representation of high royalty in the
Yep.
comic book world.
Oh yeah,
Just
definitely.
like in the movie scene and comedy scene, our representation of high royalty was coming to America.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
that's what that represented, for me and a lot of other people. So, I give it up. They did a good job, but some things, I disagree with in the movie,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Black Panther. But the thing about Black Panther, it also displayed a villain,
Mm-hmm.
Killmonger,
I mean,
which he
and
wasn't really a villain
yeah, they
in
they
some
had a
sense.
difference in ideals.
Yeah, yes, different philosophies on how to get to the same point.
Hmm.
So, Black Panther, it changed the way black people view comic books, and it opened people that wasn't into comic books, it opened their eyes to be into comic books or comic characters and everything like that.
Hmm.
And it made an impact on independent black comic book developers and designers, because it opened up the doors and more opportunities for us, and it allowed us to make more money because people are now starting to support and start seeing that there is a group that's out there,
Oh yeah, definitely,
you
and that's
know.
why I said, and like I didn't want to make it seem like these individuals haven't been doing the work, because they have been doing the work for years. But
Yeah.
now the spotlight has actually been put on them, because they were looking for more sources to be able to uh, showcase. Once this actually came out, and shout out to Cheryl. Cheryl, let me see you tapped in. You wanted to know about. Thank you for tuning in. First of all, you wanted to learn about KHEM FEST. So if you go to BiteCon, that's BITE dash con.org, you'll be able to purchase the tickets for KHEM FEST Miami. Okay. That will be in there, and we'll actually put that within the chat. So KHEM FEST Miami is actually coming up in April. So make sure you are part of that. That was something that we were talking about last week. Uh, so
Hmm.
make sure that you tap in. This is going to be our 10th annual KHEM Fest. Thank you, Cheryl, for being one of our partners within this. We've actually, I believe she was in episode three, when we talked about the
Hmm.
women, the black women in tech, who's been doing a phenomenal job for the last 25 years. So thank you for tapping in. We definitely appreciate you and appreciate your support. So I mean, what else we want to kind of get into, with regards to the Wakanda universe. what's next, as far as we talk about the rise of these characters, right? How do we talk about the evolution of the black superhero? I always state that words are so powerful, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that we have to say black superhero
Yep.
tells you something, right? Because words are power, because words generate images in your mind. And I always talk about the word superhero because that was always a conversation I had with my children and my son, with regards to what kind of image generates in your mind. And then we talk about black superhero, which is going to kind of create a certain narrative. But the narrative should be, when you say superhero by itself, you
Yeah.
should see someone that looks like you, that can, impact the community. And when I talk about community, I'm talking about your immediate household, your immediate neighborhood, or the world around you and everything. So being able to impact those things is something that I see, as the superhero that is a part of whatever universe that you are involved in.
Totally agree. Totally agree, brother. Totally agree.
So and that's part of why we are talking about the Futures Black podcast, is to being able to change the narrative, change the paradigm, and how people are thinking, because you know we don't need some outside individual to be our savior. We need to be able to see ourselves as the savior in our own community, and being able to build and do things that is going to be able to impact and solve problems that or we are facing each and every day.
Hmm.
So if you got any questions or anything, just make sure you put that in the chat. We definitely appreciate it. Like I say, we know that you tapping in, so thank you for that. Uh, but there's some really iconic pieces that we're gonna be looking at, and there's some challenges and triumphs, within the black superhero industry. We are moving away from the tropes, right?
Yeah.
So there's a number of tropes, like when we talked about Luke Cage, we talk about the muscle man,
Yeah.
the invulnerability. And then they got this one trope, and I actually watched a podcast the other day where they talk about all black superheroes have lightning powers.
I was
Um,
just about to say that.
they talk about that. But um and we talk about the mainstream, the individuals, because those are the people that people recognize. And I know you can name about 10 characters nowadays that have lightning powers. But looking at the data, there are a ton of more people that actually, and then you talk about the trope of the magical Negro and everything, that do not have um electrical powers and everything. But they say that, just based on the data and the research, is that the ones with the electrical powers are the more interesting ones. And that's why they become much more popular and everything. So you think about your storms, your static shock, your black lightning. Even Miles Morales actually has a lightning strike, or, his lightning venom and all this other stuff. So those are all those mystical. And then when we get into other characters like your Black Panthers and Shuri and
Yeah.
Falcon and your Green Lanterns and everyone else,
Yeah.
in between, it's not they don't have that, but they also kind of move away from these tropes of the magical Negro,
Yeah.
and all this other stuff.
Mm. Lightning powers.
Yes. I
That's
mean, I'm pretty sure who's your favorite lightning power superhero,
Storm.
put that in the chat.
Because
Well, why Storm is your favorite lightning power superhero, brother?
she represents nature to me.
Okay.
And that's why, it's like,
I mean, she's I forget the level of mutants, but she's like the supreme level mutant and
yeah, she
everything out
is.
there.
Even though they downplay her,
Her powers.
yeah, they downplay her powers. So that's my thing. Storm is one of the top. They downplay her powers a lot. They downplay a lot of these character powers. Like, even no mean to go back to Black Panther. Black Panther is way stronger than what they show
Mm-hmm.
in the movies. He's stronger than Captain America and everybody. Like, can he use Captain America's shield and everything?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, and I did get one on the chat. Somebody was asking about Spawn, man. You know,
Oh,
so
that
Spawn.
was
Now Spawn is the magical Negro in the sense,
uh,
but he gets his powers from the Hell Spawn and everything, you know. And that's a non-lightning power, but I mean, Spawn was just like super cool. Like I was like, you know,
Spawn goes up there with Blade to a certain degree. It took the Spawn was different from all other comic book joints because there was somebody who really didn't want to be a hero.
yeah.
You know, he was different. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, he fits in the anti-hero category
yeah,
because
that's what he
you
is,
know,
anti-hero.
yeah, he
And
you know, he made sure he got his revenge and everything else, and then
yeah,
you know had to
Spawn was
do some good at the same time. But we definitely do that. You know, so shout out to everyone who's tuning in. This is the Futures Black podcast. Each and every Thursday, we're hitting you with Afrofuturism. We hit you with tech. But this week we're talking about the we're talking about the Afrofuturism Odyssey, the evolution of the black superhero. And
yes.
if you have a hero, black superhero, uh, I like the evolution because one of the things, especially is we first got into the comic business and everything, most people couldn't name 5 black superheroes, you know. So the fact that people can actually name 5 black superheroes,
Yeah.
you know, within this space now who don't have comic book series or anything like that is super phenomenal. So I definitely appreciate that now. Because there is getting more recognition, you know, for with regards to it. But from comics to the silver screen is really where we kind of focusing in, you know, because there's not that many films that has taken a comic book property and moved it to the silver screen.
You know what else is good that they have that we have a lot of comic book characters. Because another thing I don't like when they try to take a white character and
Oh
make
yeah,
them black.
and the
I
rebranding. That's the other
Yeah,
trope.
I don't. Sometimes it's like, yo, let him be what he is. You know, some of the characters I prefer them to be who they are.
hmm
Like the joke when we just watching Bruce Wayne, like
Oh yeah,
let him be
yeah,
the white man.
yeah. Let him. Yeah, it's no
Like,
black Bruce Wayne. There's no
yeah,
black
like
Bruce
let
Wayne.
it be. Like
Yeah,
let Batman always remain white. Who cares? Like certain, it's all right. And you know, for me, so therefore we could develop our own characters with their own superpower, their own story, and you know, it's more original. You know, and we don't create chaos. And that's the thing for me. But
yeah.
somebody said in the chat,
Yeah, they just said peace. They said peace, and we in the building. So thank you for tuning in. We
yeah,
definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. You know,
yeah,
so
Ayana Safar,
yeah, Safari.
yeah,
You know, and
Cha
then
Rastafari. That's my cousin in the building.
okay,
Yeah,
Cuzzo. Thank
yeah,
you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. AR, we are here. You know, AR, thank you for tuning in. We definitely do. Let us
yeah.
know where you tuning in from. You know, we definitely appreciate that. But I don't want to over because you would talk about Michael Jai White, but the reason you talk about Michael Jai White because he was the
Mhm.
individual who played Spawn.
Yeah,
yeah,
and just like with Wesley Snipes, they both know martial arts.
yeah.
So that's what makes their movies more believable in their
Oh yeah, definitely,
character
definitely.
compared to someone has to like train and you know it has to do more training. So that's why those two go up on a higher level
Mm-hmm.
than all the other characters in the field, white and black.
Mm-hmm. No, I
Like
mean, yeah,
yeah, like
man.
white and
I
black.
mean, because the representation was real on the screen. I mean, we got to be able to see ourselves in this. You don't know how. I mean, we were talking about Blade earlier, and that came out
Yeah,
in 1998. We got kids who were born in 98, right?
yeah,
And now they will be 26 years old. You know what I'm saying? These are grown people when that movie first came out. So being able to see that representation and now being able to, you know, move forward into that,
yeah,
now we're affecting that next generation. And that's why, like I said, when we talk about where we've gone and grown as far as the evolution of the Black superhero, and I don't want to just focus in on our our male characters. There was a ton of female characters that we could name, Vixen and Storm and a whole bunch of others, but we're just talking about the individuals that made it to the silver screen. They didn't do an independent Storm movie, which I think they should, but they haven't done that that property just yet, because I don't think they know how to do it right. They got to get the right people on a job to be able to speak to, because she's from Kenya. You know what I'm saying? She's from Kenya. So being able to tap into that heritage and that history and then bring her over to the States. And now, she represented as a queen who was actually, they backstory, she was a petty thief,
Sun Ra hit his screens or cartoons?
Who?
Sun Ra.
Sun Ra? You talking about Sun Man?
Yeah.
You talking about Sun Man? You talking about Sun Ra?
Yeah.
I'm like Sun Ra. No, Sun Man is in the Masters of the Universe. They didn't make it to the silver screen yet, but shout out, because they are in the Masters of the Universe metaverse. So they are doing some really, really powerful things. Shout out to Willa Eason, who has been a phenomenal individual, a teacher, mentor, and everything, to us and what we've been doing, but also have been a part of KHEM FEST, where we celebrate Black animation, gaming, and comic book creators. And we're going to have our 10th annual in Miami, the 21st through the 28th, which is also going to be a part of BiteCon Week in Miami, which is in April, which most people don't know is Miami Tech Month, and we have the Black Tech Week, which is going to be BiteCon Week, a part of Miami Tech Months, which is going to be super, super powerful. So we definitely appreciate. I had to throw that quick little plug in. Don't want to derail too far from what we're talking about as far as the Afrofuturism Odyssey, the evolution of the Black superhero. But if there are some superheroes that you want to tap into, because I know Cyborg has been on the silver screen, and he's been on the comics.
Black Lightning.
Well, he's definitely on it. He had a series. He definitely had a series.
So that would consider the screens now. Black Lightning.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was a good show, but I think it just turned left.
Oh,
just turned left. It lost a lot of viewers when it turned left.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel about.
I mean,
and he had electrical powers.
Yeah, of course. He's an electrical individual,
so. Trope, they made the wife like an alcoholic after a while.
You gotta be on drugs or alcohol, it just can't be, because gotta keep it real, that's what we're going through, as we have so many multitude of layers, within the Black community, that we don't have to always fit within these tropes, but they feel that these tropes is what make it keeping it real. We have progressive individuals who live right in the hood, who are doing some really powerful things, but they're sometimes their life and their lifestyle is impacted by the family and the friends that's surrounding them and everything, but they still kind of push through, just like us, where we have a number of things that we had to deal with and navigate through in order to make it to where we are. But we still have family members that we have, we've been pulling up and pushing through.
Yeah. What else we got? What other superheroes we have?
I was thinking, like I was just touching on it, but Cyborg, he made it to the, he had his own series and everything. He was actually one of those individuals that they made a comic book after they embedded him into the Super Friends series. They wanted to diversify, the Super Friends, and they put Cyborg in it, and then that popularized that character. And I don't even want to get into Black Vulcan or whatever, because Black Vulcan was Black Lightning. They just didn't have the license and the rights to call him Black Lightning at that time or whatever. But as you can see, that was another electrical individual.
One of the flaws of Cyborg, he's the only character that couldn't have a relationship or something.
Oh yeah, because he was castrated. They castrated the man. Because his superpower would have been able to reproduce, and he couldn't have the ability to reproduce or anything like that, because that would have been the ultimate threat within the world. So definitely that. So, shout out to LL Ross, who's tapped in. Thank you. We definitely appreciate you tapping in. Definitely appreciate that. We got anybody else who's tuning in from, and where you are tuning in from? Let us know. Let us know in the
your
chat.
favorite black
Yeah, let us
character.
know about your favorite black superhero. Not necessarily we're talking comics to the silver screen, but let us know who's your favorite black superhero. I know there's a ton. I mean, and we could start naming people. Just don't want to name people that people are unfamiliar with. So we're trying to stay with the more mainstream individuals, because we definitely going to be tapping into P.B.Soldier and Jazen and a number of other individuals that and P.B.Soldier is the series that PBS Media produces, which is is an Afrofuturism adventure set in the near future, where we live in a world where everyone's considered a terrorist. P.B.Soldier, which is one of the world's top hackers. Has just been labeled a top terror threat. It has to go underground, work unofficially off of the books for the newly formed world government called the Establishment. As he starts seeing visions of a life that's not of his own, he's actually being hacked into by his ancestors. And that's where the story kind of kicks off from, where he's trying to get an understanding of how his past connects to the present and paves a pathway for the future.
Let them know where they could get the comic book from.
Oh yeah, well, you could
graphic novel.
You could get the graphic novel at pbsmediastudios.com. If you go to PBS, that's Focus with a PH, Phocused Black Star Media Studios. .com, and we have that readily available. Make sure you get that. And this is, if you look at the image in the back, this is the world that we actually created. When we talk about Afrofuturism, and we talk about changing the narrative and imploring or establishing a universe of individuals that people can aspire to. So salute to all of you who are been tapping in.
Another character, Static Shock.
Oh yeah, Static Shock. Yeah, definitely.
I think,
but he's getting greenlit a movie. I just don't know when it's coming out yet.
But I think,
if you know when Static Shock movie is coming out, guys, please put that in the chat. I'm gonna try to do a quick little research to see if we can figure it out real quick.
If I recall, one of our own was a part of that. Michelle Morgan.
Oh yeah, she was a part of the cartoon series. Yes.
Yeah, she was a voiceover.
Yeah, shout out to Michelle Morgan. She actually played Virgil's sister.
Yeah.
In the movie. I mean, excuse me, in the series. So that's definitely.
So one of our good friends, Michelle Morgan. Give a special shout out to her for her role in Static Shock.
Oh, and then somebody else who we connected to, Michael B. Jordan, is going to produce the Static Shock movie. So that's the
Brick City brother.
Yeah, that's Brick City all the way through, man. Yeah. So Static Shock is going to be produced by Michael B. Jordan. Shout out, Newark born and raised.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he was born in Newark, but he definitely was raised in Newark. So I just want to make sure we have that correct. But they don't have a date for the Static Shock movie. And when that's coming out. But if anyone, because I know there's some deep blurbs out there who are into all of this stuff. So if you do know, please put that in the chat. Let us know so we can inform the people when these projects are coming out, because we want to be able to not only we want to be very informative in the information that we provide, but we also want to make sure that we let people come out and support, man, because and I just want to change subjects really quick. The movie industry is built on that opening weekend, right?
Yeah.
So this last week we had Bob Marley's One Love come out, right? And I was initially disappointed at what I saw at the movie theaters. I thought the movie theaters didn't appreciate this movie or talk about it enough, but it came out on Valentine's Day. So the weekend, a lot of people already saw the movie, before the weekend. And then when I looked at the box office numbers, they actually did really, really well. It's one of the top performing. So if you haven't seen One Love, make sure you go check out the Bob Marley movie, One Love. it's a phenomenal piece. You know, I had the fortune to be able to see one of the premieres in New York City, and it's a really good movie. But I only say this because, you know, when these projects come out, you need to make sure that you march with your dollars in order to make sure that projects like this can still get greenlit, you know, and employ, you know, more black and browns, you know, within this particular industry.
Yes, yes. What else we got today? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, definitely. Once again, any other, you know, black heroes and everything that you want, you know, just talk about those in the chat. We definitely bring up those characters and everything. But when we get past all of this and we were talking about, you know, what's beyond Wakanda and everything, how do we move past this? You know, what's some of the upcoming Afrofuturism projects that's going to be hitting the screen? I mean, we have P.B.Soldier blacklisted that's going to be dropping in about 2 or 3 months. We are in post production for that. So P.B.Soldier blacklisted. We have an Afrofuturism experience that we're building. Jazen, the rose that grew from the concrete, which is an all immersive experience, is going to actually have projection mapping, spoken word, live band. You know, a whole dramatization. We were creating that whole experience that's going to be coming in October. That's our own independent projects, but there are a number of other projects that are actually going to be coming out, you know, within the year. And then we want to actually talk about some of the other stuff. I know Yatasha Womack. She just did a phenomenal project in. Shout out to her, who's doing her thing within Chicago. She's a Chicago native, but they just did an Afrofuturism experience called Naya in the Multiverse, where they actually had a whole immersive experience premiered in Chicago, is actually running now. So for everyone who's tapping in from Chicago, make sure you see Naya the multiverse experience, which is running right now. So please make sure you tap into that.
Yes. The thing about it is support, like you said, we got to continue to support and support unequivocally. And support doesn't always just mean your dollars, also means passing the word around, telling
Mm-hmm.
people and helping in a mark. And maybe you can post, you know, post about PBS Media, post about the podcast, and whatever you doing, post about it.
Yeah,
Let
man.
people
Let us
know.
know. Let us know what you're
Yeah,
working on, because we definitely we're not shy of shout outs right now. You know,
yeah,
as you can see, we are sponsored by H2O.
yeah.
You know, we're definitely making sure that we get the information out to the individuals who are doing the work. You know, Yanu, which is a project that is coming from Unique Studios, where I talk about Roy Okupe. That's actually on Cartoon Network right now, and you know
Hmm.
they're doing some phenomenal work right now. So shout out to them and a number of the other individuals we talked about. If you want to know about all of the African and African American animation studios, tune into last week. We tapped into all of that last week. So go to our previous episode. So we're not going to recap on that. We just need you to tap into that. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what are some of the challenges that you think, when we talk about the evolution of the black superhero? Well, what are some of those challenges that we're facing? I mean, we do see a rise in the number of black heroes that are actually being spotlighted, because
Yeah.
like they created a dozen, I'm not, excuse me, not a dozen, hundreds of black characters, but a lot of them don't get the light of day, right?
The challenges I see, finance as always,
Mm-hmm.
and the controlling of the infrastructure or the system
Mm-hmm.
that we have to operate in. Like, for example, in Hollywood, like, it's the same challenges that any black movie face. They don't give us a large enough platform, or we haven't created a platform of our own to showcase our own stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, and I think we need to work on implementing our own platform so we can showcase our own movies. And it comes down to money also. So like that is one of the challenges. Then the other challenge is to create a character that's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but also without it losing its edge.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times they'll create a character and it's always missing something, or they try to add too much.
Oh yeah.
Like where you be like,
It remind me of like a David Chappelle episode of like when getting real goes wrong.
Yeah, like sometimes they
keeping it real goes wrong.
So
they try to add all this extra stuff in it and everything, which kind of takes away from what's actually happening.
Then the main thing that we see all the time is creating characters that eliminate all the stereotypes. Everything doesn't have to be. They don't have to include every stereotype like with the character. So these are some of the things I feel that can be changed.
I mean, once again, it's not. I mean, these are our experiences and everything. And if you have some different key points or opinions about that, hey, feel free to put it in the chat. We definitely appreciate it. We like the feedback. We appreciate all of the information that you guys provide us and something that you want to hear about, man. Some of this stuff, the topics and everything. We got a whole list of things, but if there's some burning questions that you have that when you hear us speaking about various subjects and topics that you want to ask, please put that in the chat. Connect with us, and then once we see that or receive it, we're definitely going to do our best to be able to respond. Because, like I said, this is the Future's Black podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Hey man, we've been having a good time. We talk about diversity and representation. We talked about significance of a cultural element to this, the media influence. Because when you talk about the silver screen, they only green light in certain projects that they feel is crossover material, right? They just touch on the cultural piece and everything sometimes. They don't want to go too deep into this stuff because they don't feel like that will sell or they turn people off or whatever reasoning that they try to use to justify, taking this away. But, we as a people, we want to be able to see, people that look like us and being able to control our narrative in a cultural sense, in a political sense, and all of the, various variations that come with the deep complexion that we say for the Black community.
You know what else they don't tell y'all, and this is very important? Black movies uphold and save Hollywood. They don't tell you this. If you go back to the 70s and the 60s, the Black exploitation films is what saved Hollywood. Most of the Black movies are the savior because what happens is most Black movies, most Black projects have a low budget. So, for example, a movie like, not to get away from a movie like Friday. Friday has a low budget, but the amount of profit Friday makes, the amount of profit a Medea movie makes versus how much they put in the movies. If you look, none of our movies have any explosion.
The ROI on the we talk about that
investment. So
it's definitely, we always it doesn't make the $1 billion that some of these major productions, but they're not putting in 300 million to actually make the movie either.
For example, a movie like, what was that, Avatar?
Oh yeah,
like not the other one. They spent almost $1 billion and then they make the money back. So a lot of these movies, these predominantly Caucasian movies, when you look how much they spend and how much they get back, they don't make a return on their investment. In actuality, there never was really a Black movie that ever failed.
Yeah.
That hit the screens. None of them never fell. They always made more than they projected. But they don't want to show you that. So if they take 20 Caucasian white films, how much it made, how much it cost to produce, and how much output, you take 20 Black films, percentage wise, we gross way more than their films.
Yeah.
And they don't,
and that's fact. And you can research that, just I mean, look at the numbers. You know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So look at the numbers, compare it. You don't believe us? Hey, check it out yourself. You know, we definitely appreciate it.
So that's something to think about when you go home. Do your research. We even holding up Hollywood, so keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. We definitely. I mean, we the creators and innovators within this industry,
Yeah,
man.
we
Gotta
paid.
stop. We just gotta stop being so much of a consumer, and then actually, capitalizing on our creativity that's actually everybody else has been capitalizing off of, within this. So thank you for tuning in. You know,
Yes.
we went in deep this week, but next week we're gonna talk about the gaming the future, black gamers and developers who are making waves. That's next week's episode. And this is the Futures Black podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate you guys. And we're going to be tuning out in a second. We definitely appreciate it. Hey. I got to do it this way. Oh man.
Thanks for all the love and support.
Yeah.
And make sure y'all share the links with other people. Let them know we out here in the podcast world. And share. That's all we can say.
Definitely share. We definitely need you to share. And once again, this is Black History Month, but we're doing Black History 365, 24 hours a day. We always are representing, because this is the Futures Black podcast. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Naseed Gifted. That's Dilettante Bass. Peace.